Hello friends, welcome to the Point. In this session, let's discuss about water or oceans. So we know that water is an essential component of all the life forms that exist over the surface of the earth. So water is a rare commodity in our solar system. There is no water on the sun or anywhere else in our solar system. Only the earth is sufficiently lucky to have an abundant supply of water on its surface. Hence, our planet Earth is called as a blue planet. Hydrological cycle. Water, it is a cyclic resource and it can be used and reused. Water also undergoes a cycle from the ocean to the land and land to ocean. The hydrological cycle, it describes the movement of water on, in and above the earth. The water cycle, it has been working for billions of years and all the life on the earth depends on water. Next to the air, water plays a major role for the existence of life on the earth. The distribution of water on the earth, it is quite uneven. Many locations they have plenty of water while others have very limited quantity. The hydrological cycle, it is a circulation of water within the Earth's hydrosphere in different forms, that is, the liquid, solid and the gaseous phases. It also refers to continuous exchange of water between the oceans, atmosphere, land surface and subsurface and the organisms. The water in the oceans and seas, due to the sun's heat, they get evaporated. And this evaporated water, it condenses to form a cloud. And the condensed water, it comes back to the earth in the form of rain. We also call it as precipitation. And then we can see the surface runoff of waters. And this runoff water is again joined back to the seas. This process we call it as water cycle or hydrological cycle. The oceans are confined to the great depressions of the earth's outer layer. The geographers, they have divided the oceanic part of the earth into 4 oceans, namely Pacific, Atlantic, Indian and the Arctic Ocean. The various seas, bays, gulf and other inlets, they are the part of these 4 large oceans. A major portion of the ocean floor is found between 3 to 6 km below the sea level. The land under the waters of the ocean, that is the ocean floor, it exhibits a complex and varied features when compared to the land. The floors of the oceans are wrecked with the world's largest mountain ranges, deepest trenches and the largest plains. These features are formed like those of continents by the factors of tectonic, volcanic and depositional process. The ocean floors, they can be divided into 4 major divisions: the continental shelf, continental slope, the deep sea plain and the oceanic depth. Beside this division, there are also 4 major and minor relief features in the ocean floor like ridges, guyards, sea level, abyssal hill, island arc, etc. So what is this continental shelf? The continental shelf, it is the extended margin of each continent which is occupied by shallow seas and gulfs. It is the shallowest part of the ocean and it shows an average gradient of 1 degree or even less. The continental shelf, it typically ends at the very steep slope and it is called as shelf break. The width of the continental shelves, it varies from one ocean to another. The average width of continental shelf is about 80 km. The shelves are almost absent or very narrow along some of the margins like the coast of Chile, the west coast of Sumatra, etc. The Siberian shelf in the Arctic Ocean, it is the largest in the world and it stretches up to 1500 km in width. The depth of the shelves also varies. It may be shallow as 30 meters and in some areas it may be as deep as 600 meters. Continental slope. The continental slope, it connects the continental shelf and the ocean basins. Continental slope begins where the continental shelf sharply drops off into the steep slope. The gradient of the slope, it may range from 2 to 5 degree. The depth of the slope varies from 200 meter to 3000 meter. The slope boundary indicates that the end of the continents, canyons and trenches are observed in this region. Deep sea plain. They are gently sloping areas of the ocean basins, and these are the flattest and smoothest regions of the world. The depth of the sea plain varies from 3000 to 6000 meter. These plains are covered with the fine-grained sediments like clay and slate. Ocean deeps. It is also called as trenches, and these are the deepest part of the oceans. And the trenches, they are relatively steep-sided, narrow basins. They are about 3 to 5 km deeper than the surrounding ocean floor. They occur at the bases of the continental slopes and along island arcs, and which are associated with the active volcanoes. And they also have a strong earthquakes, and that is why there is a very significant in the study of the plate movements. As many as 57 deeps have been explored so far, and of which 32 are in Pacific Ocean, 19 in the Atlantic Ocean and 6 in the Indian Ocean. Apart from the major relief features of the ocean floor, some of the minor features are also present in different parts of the ocean. Mid-ocean ridge. It is composed of two chains of mountains which is separated by a large depression. The mountain ranges, they have a peaks as high as 2500 meters and some even reach above the ocean surface. Iceland, a part of the Middle Atlantic ridge, is an example. Seamounts. It is a mountain with pointed summits rising from the seafloor and that does not reach the surface of the ocean. Seamounts are volcanic in origin and this can be 3000 to 4500 meters tall. The Emperor Seamount, an extension of the Hawaiian Islands in the Pacific Ocean, is an example of the seamount. Submarine canyon. These are deep valleys and this is comparable to the Grand Canyon of the Colorado River. They are sometimes found cutting across the continental shelves and slopes, and it is often extending from the mouths of large rivers. The Hudson Canyon is the best known canyon in the world. Guyots. It is a flat-topped seamount. They show evidences of gradual subsidence through stages to become flat-topped submerged mountains. It is estimated that more than 10,000 seamounts and guyots exist in the Pacific Ocean alone. Factors affecting temperature distribution. The factors that affect the distribution of temperature of ocean water are latitude. The temperature of the surface water decreases from the equator towards the poles because the amount of insolation decreases polewards. Unequal distribution of land and water. The oceans in the northern hemisphere, they receive more heat due to their contact with the larger extent of the land than the oceans in the southern hemisphere. And that is why the unequal distribution of land and water, it affects the temperature distribution on the earth. Prevailing winds. The winds blowing from the land towards the ocean, it drives warm water from the coast which results in upwelling of cold water from the below, and this results in longitudinal variation in the temperature. Contrary to this, the onshore winds, they pile up warm water near the coast and this rises the temperature. Ocean currents. Warm ocean currents, they rise the temperature in cold areas, while the cold currents, they decrease the temperature in the warm ocean areas. Gulf Stream, or it is also called as warm current, rises the temperature near the eastern coast of the North America and west coast of the Europe, while the Labrador current, it is a cold current and it lowers the temperature near the northeast coast of North America. All these factors, they influence the temperature of the ocean currents locally. The enclosed seas in the low latitude, it records relatively higher temperature than the open seas, whereas the enclosed seas in higher latitudes, they have a lower temperature than the open seas. That's all for the session. Thank you.